Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here live with the Rivalcade Overwatch Rumble. We've covered some of the matches in Group A, and certainly that last best of three was ridiculous, with Rogue just about managing to come out on top of Rise Nation by a scoreline of 2-1. We now move into Group B, where the new revamped Cloud9 roster with their new Korean players are going to be facing off against Immortals, who have been absolutely stalwart of late. This is going to be an excellent match to watch.
Immortals actually this year has been a great one for them. They've won a couple of events. Carbon Series was a really nice one for them. And Cloud9 on the other side actually haven't really been in competition since Apex Season 2 elimination. So since then, Rib and Mendo have actually been moved to the non-competitive roster. I don't know if they're technically subs or bench or what, but Mendo's actually been playing with another team already, and that's NRG. So it's kind of an awkward situation. Obviously, in Overwatch, you've got teams with 6 people each. You're not going to have the perfect fit every time right off the bat. We talked about Rogue and Rise Nation, for example, actually having the same 6 for months now, and clearly it's been benefiting them. But when you move individual pieces, you never really know what you're going to get until it's showtime. And Cloud9 have replaced Rib and Mendo for the time being with 2 Korean imports who actually came back with the team from Korea after Apex Season 2. So they've been there a while. They also have a coach who's fluent in Korean and English named Bishop, who is coordinating them and helping them all play together and learn how to communicate in game and things like that. And it's been a few weeks now. So Selly and Zephyr being the first actual Korean players to join NA teams are about to make their debut here against Immortals, a very, very strong North American team.
And I want to highlight, I actually think the biggest difference maker here might actually be the inclusion of Bishop. For those people who don't know, Bishop was basically the architect behind Kungdu Panthera's run in Apex Season 1 and basically a lot of the planning for Apex Season 2. He's a very experienced coach, and just the way I've seen his teams in tactics, just because I've been reviewing a lot of the Apex matches, it's really exciting to see him move over to one of the North American teams and see what we can do there. So I'm looking forward to seeing how well Cloud9 performs. Immortals are a seriously tough first test for them.
That's right. And Immortals, they did not actually, make it to the finals in the Overwatch Monthly Melee. Selfless have actually been showing up a lot more frequently in these finals where Immortals would like to be. And basically anytime Rogue competes, they're going to be in the finals because now they're up to a, 28 match streak or 29 match streak, whatever it is. So they are just beating every possible opponent, and Immortals, Cloud9, every other team, honestly, just looking to try to overthrow them at some point. But at this point, Rogue sitting safely atop the group, Group A. We are into Group B now, so I'll give you just one more result that we got from Group A. Complexity actually 2-0 against CLG, and I know that Complexity are using Echo and their more recently signed player Meza. Echo is not signed, so he actually did a great job with them today. Maybe he's making a name for himself with them, so we'll see if he ends up joining the squad or not.
We were talking about that a little bit earlier, how Rogue were the favorites, although any one of the other 3 teams could cause an upset. And I think it's fair to say that on Thursday night, when we did the group reveal, there were a lot of people in chat, like the C9 lulls were coming out, but specifically for Complexity here, because no one actually had any faith in them, it seemed like. Certainly in the chat, and to see them come out and actually start off with a 2-0 in Group A means that any result is possible for the second place in that group, assuming Rogue now go through.
All right, well, Immortals, we're just waiting on their last player there. We did get through the map selection, so it's going to be Lijiang Tower kicking things off. We were just there, obviously, with 2 different teams. Nepal is going to be map number 2, and I believe Dorado ended up being the 3rd map. Yes, so we're going to start off with 2 control maps. So whoever has the favor there is certainly looking pretty good to take the series. It's interesting, actually, that Immortals and Cloud9 both picked control maps to take it to. But Lijiang Tower, yeah, again, we were just there, so it's fresh in the minds. We'll see if their comps are going to be much crazier than what we just saw.
We're going to have, a lot of brawls on the point here by the looks of things. Lijiang Tower going into Nepal. Should a 3rd map become necessary a little bit later on in this match, we will be going to the streets of Dorado to split the difference between these teams. So right back into Lijiang Tower. The mess has all been cleaned up from a couple of minutes ago, guys. Don't even worry about it. And we are starting afresh here with the new Cloud9 roster taking on Immortals.
I'm excited. This is actually, again, just a kind of a new prospect here with Korean players playing on a North American roster for the first time in competition, Selly and Zephyr. Keep your eyes out for them. I believe Selly is playing DPS and Zephyr is playing Flex. So those early lock-ins, I don't know if we can trust those with Widow and Diva, but Cloud9, of course, have a little bit of time to mess around a little bit during Assemble Heroes. Over on the Immortal side, though, Grim Reality has, of course, built a great name for himself playing hit scan characters. His McCree is basically one of the best consistently that actually shows up in tournaments, but he's also fine on the Tracer and Soldier, whatever he really feels like switching to. Hyped has been one of the best flex tanks. His Diva and Zarya are both quite phenomenal, so they're going to lock in Dive with Hyped on the Diva, while Cloud9 in the last few seconds here will finally get a look once those doors open.
All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The new Cloud9 roster versus Immortals, two of the best teams here, and they're going head-to-head on Lijiang Tower. Let's get ready to rumble.
There you go, Buffer. Jorsar Buffer here, everybody. There was no bet, so yes. You can have it. You can take that one. 15 seconds until the point opens up, and Rolf, Nomi, Selly all down already. Selly started out on the Soldier, Surefour moving to the Pharah, but Zephyr is going to be staying on the Diva to duel against Hyped, and the first kills all going to Immortals. The supports and gods all down now, so Immortals will grab the point first here on the Garden level.
And Cloud9 looking for a way to pop in edgeways right now. Sally trying to find a pick, but not able to do so at the moment. Agility, he's popping his head up above the wall, and the Soldier immediately on him, but not quite enough just then. So they're going to regroup, and by the looks of things, they're going to be going around the White Room as we see. Oh, they're actually going to be splitting here, and Hyped actually getting caught a little bit off guard as Sally now looks to move on to the point.
20% already for Immortals. Grim falls very low, but of course does get healed up. Nomi in a bit of trouble here, and it looks like he's going to get taken out by Zephyr's Diva. Pulse Bomb goes flying out from Grim Reality. He finds the Soldier. Where have I seen that before? Surefour has actually moved off of the Pharah onto Tracer himself and finds Athan on the bullseye-shaped Zenyatta. Cloud9 have rolled back in here and reclaimed the point.
Surefour is doing work at the moment, managing to get the later kill onto Hyped as well, looking for Winston. Well, there's no way he's going to get that kill, but certainly no one else is poking up through the hole there. And that means that 37% is going to be what Immortals get on the board to begin with. And Cloud9 are almost certainly going to match that as Grim Reality is spotted coming in via the back.
Well, they are taking the bridge route here. No real risk of boops unless Adam were to get a bit aggressive, but Transcendence is going to come out here for Athan to keep everyone healthy. Now both Zens are just super tranquil. The Diva Suit's going to go flying out. Surefour in trouble, but does actually rewind in time. We've got Hyped getting taken out before he can get back into his suit, and that's going to be 33%, tying things up now for Cloud9. Another Diva Suit explosion here from Zephyr just lets him get his suit back. Immortals still on the point, though. Primal Rage triggered here from Gods, trying to smack Grim Reality out of here.
They're not quite able to finish capturing just then, though. 50% now for Cloud9 as Zephyr gets popped out of the Diva Suit, and oh my goodness, popped into next week by the looks of things. A flurry of kills from Immortals will almost certainly guarantee the point goes back.
All right. Immortals not letting Cloud9 just keep control, fighting their way back in there, using a couple of ultimates on both sides, but Cloud9 are basically only with the tactical visor and sound barrier here, but sometimes that's all you need, and on the other side, Verbo is going to be able to match that sound barrier, so still a rough prospect here for Cloud9 coming in with very few ultimates. Agilities on the Genji has been quite active, getting up in the healers' faces, but sound barrier both sides now. Gods finds a kill on Athan quickly, so this 6v5 definitely favors Cloud9. Tact visor going to get used by Selly as well, but Gods is the one getting all the kills.
Sally there, not wanting to run into a Genji deflect, immediately moving back in, but the second half of the Tac visor gets two, and he gets a staggered kill onto Verbo as well. Cloud9 are all over the point right now. They recapture. This is yo-yoing at the moment, and we are setting ourselves up for an incredible series, because after this, guys, we're going straight into Nepal.
Yeah, again, control map after control map here. So if it goes a full 5 rounds, these teams are going to definitely be fatigued by the time we reach a third. But 70% now for Cloud9, trying to keep Immortals at bay. We got a bit of a Tracer versus Genji duel taking place, but Agilities is going to stay safe for the time being. Surefour's got a Pulse Bomb loaded up, just looking for a target. Rolf with the Transcendence means Cloud9 could survive here, but Selly actually dies. Surefour finds a double Pulse Bomb stick on both supports. That's a rare one, but a good one, and Cloud9 are going to maintain control, probably all the way up to overtime here.
Selly got dived on instantly, by the way, at the very, very start of that engage. Oh, I really question a little bit agilities. Unleashing the Dragon Blade to dash into the middle of the point and unfortunately die rather promptly. We're now into overtime with Cloud9 on the point at 99%. Let's see if Immortals can come in and retake.
Well, it's just a trickle. You've got Nomi already popping Primal Rage down to 500 health. He's going to go down even further now as Hyped and Athan are both still missing from the equation. Nomi down to about 2 HP. Primal Rage going to get triggered by Gods. Sound Barrier, Pulse Bomb all flying out there. Grim Reality cannot find a kill for his Pulse Bomb, but Surefour is going to get the kill on Winston. Cloud9 end up 1-0 here on Lijiang Tower, and it was a bit back and forth, but Cloud9 seemed to have a pretty good handle on things once they got in control.
Certainly the latter part of that went Cloud9's way and everything was fine, but it wasn't without their hiccups. Immortals going down to the early sub-mac victory from Cloud9, who are going to be reasonably happy with that now that they are playing with their new roster in the tournament. But Immortals definitely got more than a word in edgeway there. And Grim Reality, as we know, can be an absolute monster. We didn't see that quite as much as normal, maybe, on the first point. So now that we move into the night market, I wonder if we're going to see some sick flanks from the Tracer player here on Immortals.
Very possible. Doors are about to open. I'm looking for any switches kind of across the board and not really seeing any differences on either side. So these guys are going to, again, stick with what they know, stick with what's working, at least for Cloud9. And you've got Gods leaping in immediately with the Orb of Harmony on him, trying to find Genji. That's going to be his primary target, but Rolf is actually the first one down on the other side. Cloud9 losing that support does not bode well for this first fight. Hyped also pops the Diva suit of Zephyr, and he gets eliminated. Immortals rolling through. They're going to grab the point first.
Oh, actually, Reality. No, they did an incredibly good. There are so many of the players were on such low health, Joshy, that after they got those kills, they fell like flies. Grim Reality got 3 of those contributing kills on 12 hit points. And it was that frailty at the very end of that fight that might have cost them, because in the long run, their Cloud9 was still able to touch the point.
All right, 7% and rising for Cloud9, despite the fact that it looked like they were going to lose the fight. They found 3 kills all in quick succession, were able to battle back, but 15% and moving Immortals, trying to get back into position. They're actually taking a long way around here on the right side. Winston going to go ahead and dive in toward the back line, looking for Adam specifically, but Rolf again getting focused now is going to be eliminated first. Athan also down on the other side. Nomi gets eliminated, and Cloud9 have the man advantage as they get closer and closer to the point. Agility's doing his best to ward off these squishies. Zephyr's Diva suit getting very low. Gods also down to about 2 HP, does go down. If they can just hit Zephyr with anything, he would lose his suit, but it's going to be Immortals again getting fended off there. Hyped goes for a ride down to the sidewalk, and Cloud9 about a 50-0 start. It's pretty solid for them.
Very, very close there on taking the point. I think there were just a couple of pixels worth for Immortals to flip that, but Grim Reality seems to now being targeted by Tracer of Surefour. Every time he goes in there, he looks for his opposite number and manages to take him out. So that's the second time in this match so far I'll be keeping an eye on.
Transcendence is going to use the Pulse Bomb. Actually, Grim Reality catches Adam. Selly with the Tactical Visor gets a kill onto Verbo, so both Lucio's out of the equation. Nomi going to fall very shortly after. Diva Explosion from Hyped lets him get a new suit back, but it's a small consolation as he got no kills with it, and is most likely going to be eliminated anyway. But Cloud9 still in control. Surefour darting back and forth to the point to ward off any sneaky cap attempts here from Hyped. He's going to lose his suit and probably should just hop off, but he's actually going to allow them to stagger him quite a bit if they want to. This is weird.
Yeah, I'm a little bit unsure about that. Grim Reality does move back past them to try and get a kill in, but Diva is just going to be staggered so much right now. Sound Barrier coming in for Cloud9 to try and defend the point. Was that a boob? I think it was a boob. Zephyr managing to get Verbo off the edge there. Lucio cannot get back. Diva Bomb on the point now to try and clear everything out. We are into overtime, 99-0 in favor of Cloud9, and so far things are looking good.
Here is Adam getting a boop off on Athan. Unfortunately, Anna's going to take a ride. 100-0 here for Cloud9. They are just mauling Immortals every time they come in here. Surefour has looked pretty much untouched on his Tracer this time around. So Tactical Visor from Selly will put the final nail in the coffin, and that's going to be another point to Cloud9. This time a bit more dominant, 100-0.
Immortals looking like they might have been taking a little bit of a step backwards there, but the nature of that second round meant that Cloud9 were able to come in from more angles, so their shot calling there was pretty good. The way they were able to sort of focus down and kill the guys one by one once they were in full-on brawl mode made them look very disciplined there, and they were just able on a couple of occasions to get those kills in slightly faster than Immortals, and at least in the early part of that, seemed to make all the difference.
Here we are in Control Center now. No Pharah's in play. AKM actually opted for it in the Rogue series, but doesn't look like Immortals or Cloud9 are interested in that. Selly actually moving over to the Roadhog, was on Soldier earlier, so they're going triple tank, no Soldier. Surefour is actually going to be the only damage dealer for Cloud9. This is kind of a different look, actually, than what we're used to seeing on this point. So no Soldier in play on either side is going to be kind of an interesting one. We've got the same comp kind of across the board, and no one finding kills just yet. Verbo getting extremely low, might be the first casualty, but it looks like he's going to get picked up. You've got both Tracers going into the back lines of both teams, and Cloud9 do have the presence on the point, so Immortals will have to find some kills and press their way in.
The Roadhogs not quite finding the picks they were looking for early on in this engagement. Verbo finally getting the first kill onto... Wow, managing to get a second one as well. Was that a little bit of a... No, it wasn't actually a boop. So that double kill from Lucio to start things off here, and now we have everybody swarming in. Immortals now are really starting to... That is a third final kill from Verbo.
He's doing great, and the new Lucio with the projectile speed and changes to his kit allow him to actually get a lot more finishing blows, which is definitely needed by some of these guys who've been playing Lucio for a year and are just bored to death whenever they have to play these matches. But we've got the point actually captured by Immortals this time around, a far departure from what we just saw in the previous round. So the composition's actually staying for both sides. You've got a nano boost here for Zarya, but the Graviton Surge out here from Cloud9. We've got kills adding up both ways. Pulse bombs go in from both sides, but it's going to be Cloud9 with the advantage. Surefour finding another double up. Efficient pulse bombs from him all match long.
Verbo trying to stall a little bit on the point at the moment, but he is a tad surrounded right now, doing a good job of buying a couple of extra seconds for the Immortals there, but the point is going to get flipped, and Cloud9 will have their own shot at control, and bear in mind, they're 2-0 up. They only have to take Control Center to win the map.
Yeah, now that they've actually flipped it back, they can just kind of watch all the entries here. Grim Reality, of course, is going to be a threat on that Tracer from every angle, but Surefour already trying to deal with him. Soundbarrier comes out, catches everybody on Immortals. You got a nano boost here onto God's Reinhardt, but he gets put to sleep. Excellent shot there by Ethan to make that happen, and Cloud9 are on the back foot. Even though Surefour is still finding kills, it looks like their health totals are really draining down. The Soundbarrier may help things out here, though. Quick commit from Adam. Earthshatter goes out. Another pulse bomb catches Gods. Grim Reality going off this time.
Nomi getting very low thanks to the tracking from Zephyr there, but it doesn't look like he can do it all himself. He's really highly charged up to 97 on his side. Not quite getting Ethan either. So very close to managing to get 2 picks off there, but just being slightly unlucky. The rest of the team not quite there to back him up.
Well, Cloud9 getting forced off the point, so they have been doing a great job after capturing a point to deflect Immortals, but this is not going to be the case here. They've got Graviton Surges actually on both sides, but no pulse bombs ready just yet. I'm looking for the group hug to definitely take place here on the edge of the point. There goes the first one from Immortals. They catch basically everyone. Bionade goes in, but gets blocked, actually. The Reinhardt shield was perfectly timed there by Gods, and the counter Graviton Surge plus Whole Hog easily enough there for Cloud9 to get in the mix, and Earthshatter directly onto Agilities makes sure that they get that cleanup.
Could have been... Well, I guess that was about as quickly as he could have actually made it there. Grim Reality coming in with a pulse bomb, still contesting on the point. Adam there trying to make a bit of a difference, but he's going to have to run away as Cloud9 once again not able to retake the point. So Immortals finding the groove on Control Center at the moment. They're up to 85% now against Cloud9, but Cloud9 might be able to one and done it if they can stagger the kills onto Immortals right now.
That was a hugely momentous pulse bomb from Grim Reality, because I think that Cloud9 definitely could have taken the point off of that fight if that didn't happen. So we've got a nano boosted Zarya here. It's going to be hyped, zapping into Lucio, trying to kill Adam as quickly as he can. Adam falls to about 10 HP, but still survives, and Cloud9 are starting to get a better value on the point, even though Surefour is down. Rolf goes away now to Verbo and Ethan, hyped both down as well. This is still anyone's point.
Verbo continuing to stall out, and he manages to do so until Nomi gets there as well. So the overtime continues to ring true there. Immortals trying to hold on to this point. Agility's looking for the kills, but Surefour coming in with a double is more or less going to seal it there. And Cloud9 will be able to retake. They're on 50%, but Immortals are now in one and done territory for sure.
This is interesting because Immortals wanted to bring the series to Lijiang Tower. If they get 3 out here, Nepal is not looking great for their chances either. Obviously, it's a very different map, but the playstyles are going to be very similar across the board. And just the individual performance that we've seen out of Surefour alone makes me think Cloud9 is going to be favored on Nepal as well. But Pulse Bomb loaded up. He tosses it out. Does he get anything? Verbo gets taken out. Great Pulse Bombs from both sides here, but Surefour again comes out on top, and Immortals are going to get deflected.
Grim Reality gets slept with a Pulse Bomb available. He could have made a big difference there as Selly goes ahead and grabs a double in his absence. That's going to be really awkward for Immortals right now, who will be forced to regroup. 85% going up on the board now for Cloud9, and Immortals have one last shot at taking this.
All right, Selly has a whole hog available with Graviton Surge. They honestly could just launch it into the doorway, and there's the group hug we were looking for. Pulse Bomb goes out. Nothing dies, but the Nano Boost is committed to Selly while he was still in whole hog. Surefour finally gets the kill onto Agility's Genji, but time has drained down at this fight at the doorway, so Cloud9 will take the stage and the map. That's Lijiang Tower going 3-0 to Cloud9 with their new Korean imports.
And that's 3-0 on the map of their choice, going into the map of their opponent's choice. I mean, this is other way around, rather. This is rather awkward for them because Cloud9 want to be on Nepal. Obviously, like you say, the playstyles are going to be very similar. It does favor, in some instances, really active and really good tracer play. We've seen so many examples of that in the past. And at the moment, I think it's safe to say Surefour is outshining Grim Reality just a little bit.
Well, Selly did a good job there on the soldier, but yeah, I think in the tracer battle, Surefour definitely did show up a lot more. And obviously there's more factors than just the tracers. Maybe Cloud9 actually allowed Surefour to get into position a little bit more often. Maybe Immortals, just because they were getting killed off in other places on the map, Grim Reality just had to be a bit more reactive rather than doing what he wanted to do. But Nepal is going to be game number 2, as he mentioned. Another control map here for this series where Cloud9 already 3-0'd in the first game is a little bit scary for Immortals. I don't really expect them to switch it up. The only thing that could be a wild card here is on Sanctum. We've seen Orisa actually been selected by Hyped a couple of times just for those environmental kill chances. But other than that, I think we should expect more of the same. Looks like Sanctum is going to be our first point loaded up. So Grim Reality, Surefour opting for these soldiers instead of tracers also makes sense with the open distance that they have to shoot across.
I'm keeping an eye out on Zephyr as well, because I feel like on the first point, while he didn't exactly get the finishing blows and give us lots of incredible sparkle and lighting up the kill feed, he was very good at staying consistently high energy on his Zarya. So I feel like if a couple more things from a team point of view just happen to click into place, we could see him with a ridiculously high damage output. It didn't work on the first map, but it might well work here.
Well, 20 seconds still for everyone to lock in. Roadhog has been obviously common on Sanctum for a very long time before Orisa showed up, just because of those hook kills. But yeah, just looking at a mirror match once again. These teams have obviously studied the other as well and probably have played scrims quite a bit, as they are two of the better teams in North America. It helps to practice against each other every once in a while. But as we've got the doors opening, it's going to be Nomi versus Gods, most likely just touching shields over on the ledge side to get things started. Moving
through the corridor, both teams looking to try and take that positioning very early on. God's actually getting his shield broken through to start off with. He's going to charge right on in. He gets surrounded by the rest of the team, though, and Hype will be able to get that first kill. So no shield for the side of Cloud9 to begin with. Immortals now getting hooked right back, and the rest of the team continuing to stay together, knowing that the shield isn't there, but managing to use the stairs to recover. Well, Grim Reality finds a Helix Rocket onto Zephyr, so it's still kind of anyone's fight, but Immortals do seem to be in the proper position to grab the point first, as Selly takes a death there. He's going to be staggered quite a bit. Surefour off on the right side just by himself, trying to get in some damage to get up to that attack visor before Grim Reality. Looking for the hook kill. Excellent. Zarya shield actually saves his teammate from the death there, but Agilities will be going down to start off this fight. An Earth Shatter looks like it's getting whiffed a little bit. What did he hit with that? I don't know what the reasoning was there, but it didn't hit anything. Surefour Tactical Visor, though, gets 3. Verbo, Athan, and Hyped all falling like dominoes there, as Surefour grabs 4 kills in just 5 seconds, and the point itself is going to be captured by Cloud9. They're going to shove their way forward, but Selly takes a couple of shots there from Grim Reality and gets mowed down, so Immortals may just bounce right back in. continuing to make the fight about the corridor. Of course, those lines of sight so important for your soldiers and for your roadhogs here, so really good to be able to get that positioning. Agility's using the whole hog now to try and clear it out, and it does a very good job once again of coming back in. Another Earth Shatter coming out, but not grabbing everyone. The first 2 kills will be going the way of Cloud9 though, and I think this point is just going to get flipped now.
It looks like it, as no one from Immortals is really around. They're all retreating, but Grim Reality is actually going to get taken out before he can even make it back. And now we're up in the ice box, as it used to be called when May was a bit more popular, but I still like the name. They're basically just staring at them in their spawn, but Immortals have returned now. They have a Graviton Surge, so this is actually kind of scary for C9. If they didn't have 4 ults of their own, is something I would say, but we could see Gravitons on both sides. There it actually comes out from Cloud9 first to combo with the whole hog, and Immortals smart not to commit any of their own. And they are just going to get taken out there back to spawn.
Well, I guess Adam's going to be treated to a little bit of a nano boost action there, as the boostio does come into play. But to be fair, they won the fight, so, you know, maybe that was part of the plan.
That's the 3rd boostio we've seen today in this tournament. They're
becoming
too many
popular. Yeah, obviously, Nucio is just that good.
Maybe so, maybe so. The projectile speed with nano boost just gets instant kills. Is that the thinking? That, Adam unfortunately got the boostio. It didn't really matter in the end, as Cloud9 won the fight handily with the Graviton plus whole hog. But wow, Verbo actually just got Hook 2.0, saved himself long enough to drop the sound barrier for Immortals. They're going to find some kills as a result. Surefour popped his tactical visor, only got hyped, and then got forced away by the nano boosted Grim Reality. He's going to pop a visor of his own to finish the job, and Immortals will flip it back. 87% for Cloud9, still pretty good territory. If they can flip it one time, they may be able to walk away with the win still, but Immortals, Earthshatter's all they've got to work with here on the defense.
Yeah, several fights will now have to be won in succession by Immortals if they want to hold on to this point, possibly 3, depending on the speed of this Cloud9 assault. They're coming through the right-hand side now, and once again, trying to attack down the corridor to see if they can take that high ground positioning to be able to shoot onto the point. Reinhardt and Roadhogs both being very conservative, no massive charges in. That's the first hook, and there we go. Zephyr goes flying, and that's the first 2 kills away of Immortals.
That was a hook from Agilities onto Selly, or excuse me, onto Zarya, and then a boop from Verbo actually got the Reinhardt. So both tanks got 100%ed by just a couple of environmental kills, and Immortals are actually hanging on here. They're probably going to tie it up. Surefour going down. That's a huge pick there from Nomi.
Joshy, it's all making sense now. We've had quite a lot of bloodthirsty Lucios today. I guess the boostio is real.
Boostio, again.
How many kills have they gotten on Lijiang and Nepal? Not bad at all. Right, last time round. Can we actually take the objective back? 87 plays 92 rather. Whoever wins this engagement is likely to win. The Reinhardt's butt heads off the point. Selly and Surefour getting a kill apiece. And actually, the whole hog is able to crowd this out in favor of Cloud9. But that's a double move on the tanks, including the nano-boosted Reinhardt. Gods and Selly go for a dive. That is absolutely huge from Verbo, and Lucio, once again, able to hold down the fort.
Absolutely a game changer. The double boop to start that fight where ultimates were flying left, right, and center was just a massive pickup there. Verbo, MVP on that round at least. The Immortals got 3-0'd on Lijiang Tower, came back in 1 Sanctum, so this is definitely not a finished series. Cloud9 having a few mistakes there. I think environmental kills obviously changed the math a little bit. If we move to another point here like Village, Cloud9 still may have the advantage, but we are going to see a couple of switches this time around. Agility is very quickly locking in the Pharah. Gods going over to the Winston where he was playing Reinhardt previously. Surefour, not on Soldier or Tracer, going to hop on the Pharah himself as well.
Critical performances from both Verbo and Adam, I have to say. I'm really loving how involved Lucio is getting in these matches. It's fantastic to watch. A lot of action going down now, and Immortals take the first point on Nepal after losing Lijiang Tower. Can Cloud9 bounce back? This is their map choice. They could end up trading their map choices and will end up going to a third non-control.
Surefour nailed those rockets. Verbo could not get away, and Agilities was unable to that performance. However, Sully does go down. So it's a 5v5. Hyped and Nomi both getting focused here. The Diva suit is popped, and Cloud9 still have the majority of their team standing. Adam and Gods combining for a couple of kills means Cloud9 will for sure grab this one. Oh, I just realized I said for sure, and Surefour was in the game. But anyway, they grabbed the point first. Cloud9 looking successful again.
We're going to have to start coming up with a list of puns. It will happen, Joshi. Right, Cloud9 Up to 5%, getting that first all-important take. Now, this is a very open point. There are plenty of opportunities in terms of avenues of attack. It looks like they're just going to be going through the front door. I can't see... Oh, there's a little bit of a split with Soldier coming onto the high ground. Let's see how much damage he can get done there, really. Oh, sorry. No, it's Grim Reality on Tracer, going a little bit too fast off the edge of my screen, looking for that flank kill, but can't find one yet.
Agility's got right up in their faces, but the Discord Orb meant he did not survive long, and that is Cloud9 grabbing 4 kills back to back, and that's the rest of the team kill there. 33% for Cloud9 against Agility's and Company's 0. They are not making any switches still after that Genji came into play. Pharaoh was not working out, so Genji has to get it done here. They don't have a nano boost available on either side, so no blades, no crazy visors or anything like that. It's going to be pretty much just raw mechanics, and Surefour still nailing those rockets from super long range.
Very difficult to find something to take out Surefour right now. Again, like the Discord Orb, I mean, you still need to be able to have the damage to finish him off, and Surefour just isn't getting in their faces enough that some of the other heroes are able to do just that. It's basically Zenyatta taking a look from very, very far away, and that means the rest of his team can stay on the point in the meantime.
Up to 70% now. Rolf is going to use the Transcendence, try to save Selly, but can't quite get there in time. The point itself, though, is only slightly contested here, as Immortals still just taking those individual deaths. Zephyr on the Diva has been ever present here for Cloud9, doing a great job just bouncing from target to target, absorbing lots of damage. Hype is going to get super staggered there, and that's actually really dangerous for Immortals now, because that percentage is so high. This is going to have to be a trickle.
That's a great point about Zephyr there, actually, Josh. He's just been quietly getting the job done in the back, not dying, very patiently getting that constant damage done on his enemies. Primal Rage now to start things off here, as we see an attempt to regain the point. 99% plays 0 at the moment, as Immortals look to try and establish themselves. No kills from them yet, except for Selly, and that's forced the Transcendence. Oh, now we're getting up to 2 kills, and that's a DPS gone as well. Immortals look like they'll be able to flip.
It looks like Immortals' game plan is to kill Selly as quickly as possible, and whenever they do, they at least open the door a little bit. This is actually the first time that they were able to get the follow-through, though, and kudos to Immortals for being in a scary position there, as Hype did have that super staggered kill. They still came in and got the job done with the limited ults that they had, and Athan actually swapping off of Zenyatta now. He's apparently fed up with just dying over and over, so he's at least going to equip himself with a sleep dart to try to survive. They have to deflect C9 several times here, and it's going to be a tough one. God's going ahead and popping the Primal Rage to get us started.
Surefour being very sneaky, capturing 3/4 of the point on his own before someone able to come back, and that could end up being absolutely huge for Cloud9 here. Hyped, managing to stem the flow a little bit, but look at how much progress has already been made on the point, and those 4 kills are just going to mean they're 5 seconds faster.
Diva Explosion comes out here from Zephyr, but if he actually doesn't find anything, but he gets a brand new suit out of the deal. 99% for Cloud9. All they have to do is kill off Verbo, the carry from the last round. Can they do it before the teammates show up? They cannot. Grim Reality actually back with a tactical visor means enough time was bought to keep Immortals in it. Agilities is also here, able to collect the kill onto Rolf, and they will flip it back.
Immortals, that was a little bit clutch, my friends, and they managed to flip the point back from 99% when their tanks were actually off the point because they got a staggered killed as well. Grim Reality and Agility's finally coming into their own in that team fight. Let's see if they can sustain their momentum and become basically the monster DPS players that we know they can.
Well, Selly's getting very close to a tactical visor. He almost died. He does go down before he's able to use it. Hype able to get that last bit of damage. Immortals themselves need to focus the point here, as it is getting slowly captured by Cloud9. They can't stay off of it forever, but Zephyr finding 2 kills on Genji. He actually swapped over from Diva and is doing quite a good job taking out Hyped. However, Immortals still standing firm on the point. They're going to get it up to about 75% before Cloud9 can go ahead and run in here. They're going to have a ton of ultimates to work with, and Immortals very, very low on ult count. So Cloud9 have an opportunity on this last chance.
Immortals have done so much of the work. They have done such a tremendous job in holding off Cloud9 to this point. They basically now need to set up for one last team fight. If they lose this, all that work will have been for naught. Sound barrier coming out from Cloud9 to start it off. Nomi being a little bit isolated by looks like building, and Hype can't actually go in with him, but Agilities comes in with a double, using his Dragon Blade to great effect, and 2 more kills off the back of that means that the early advantage is going Immortals' way.
Agility's just channeled his inner ninja. That was a sick play. He got the nano boost to dive in, but was immediately accosted, and he got caught by 3 people. However, the deflect allowed him to get out safely long enough to use the blade. He found 2 more kills after that, and it was enough to win that last fight, despite Zephyr getting a double Dragon Blade kill at the very end. So Agilities have to give huge props for that final fight, and Verbo did it last time to seal the deal. Agilities did it this time. They're up 2-0 now on Nepal, so it's kind of odd that Cloud9 won Immortals map, and Immortals seem to be winning Cloud9's map. Don't forget, the final map in the series is going to be Dorado if Immortals do close it out here on the Shrine.
This is a very exciting match so far, and those clutch kills at the end, first from Verbo, and now from Agility, certainly playing a big part. Although, to be fair, I think it's channeling your inner ninja has to be a little bit blunted when you also happen to be an outer ninja.
You have to be as much ninja as possible to
yes, both in and out.
As you're playing IRL, Genji's reflexes are probably pretty good as a cyborg. I would like to see how good Genji is at Overwatch, but of course he's not going to be a cyborg for many years still in the lore timeline. But as the point is going to be battled over, it's Winston's just battling it out. Adam trying to help out the best he can without taking too much damage. Ethan is going to be the first one focused here by Cloud9. He keeps himself alive with a Bionade, but is it going to be enough? Surefour has been deadly precise with the Tracer so far.
Getting a little bit split. Needs to be careful, actually, because Agility is actually hitting that Discord orb, needing to use Deflect to get himself out of there, but does a good job of it. No one dying so far. A couple of hit points bars going pretty low for Cloud9 at the moment, as we have a little bit of a Immortals regrouping up onto the stairs, looking for a couple of kills in the backline as Genji, but Hype's getting so unbelievably low. Not quite popping out of the suit just yet. Nomi also getting healed up. Very, very close, and that's bought Grim Reality enough time. He grabs a double and the upper hand in this team fight.
Nano boosted Winston. Nomi pops a Primal Rage after Nano falls off, so he's just slapping and zapping as much as he possibly can. Immortals do have a good chance to flip it back now as Gods goes down. That should seal the deal, and they're not going to let Cloud9 run away with 100-0 here. They're going to battle back safely, and they have a Sound Barrier and Dragon Blade to work with on the defense. Selly already has the Tactical Visor loaded up, and Adam can match Sound Barriers, so Cloud9 do have a pretty good opportunity for this one. Shrine can be kind of difficult to take back, though, just because of that slight high ground advantage. Sound Barrier going to be used by Cloud9, matched by Verbo, and everyone has that extra health, so this fight's going to be a long one.
And Selly not quite able to make the most of the Tactical Visor there. Grim Reality has got his available still, so we're looking for the opportunity to stagger that ultimate, and unfortunately Agilities get absolutely smashed out of the sky instantly as soon as he used his ultimate. Grim Reality coming in to try and move back, but he walks straight into the Transcendence. Selly is going to be the one that goes down a little bit too far away from the Zenyatta, but he finally goes down, does Grim Reality, and Cloud9 look to be stamping on the point. Can they continue to sustain?
It's just hyped here out of his suit, so they're going to stagger him. He did a good job actually just staying on the point to stagger rather than running toward the cliff or something like that, because Immortals did maintain control long after that fight was won. They did a really good job juicing as much percentage as they could out of it, and Cloud9 should be able to tie it up most likely before Immortals are able to get back in here, and no ults across the board means Surefour's Pulse Bomb is going to be the biggest weapon on this next battle.
We all know what happens when Surefour equips one of those pulse bombs, so let's keep an eye out for that. He's going to be looking for an opportunity round to the side as well. Tactical Visor not too far behind for these guys as Surefour now looks for a target.
As we see Surefour just kind of darting around here, it looks like he's just trying to find a Pulse Bomb target, but it's going to be a Pulse Bomb, a Nano Boost onto Winston instead. Nomi diving forward onto the supports. Adam falls very low, does get taken out. Gods is taken out as well, and suddenly Immortals have the body count, but they don't really have a great composition left standing here. Hype is having a D.Va duel on the point against Zephyr, and as the Immortals return to the point, they should be able to flip it back.
And a boop is actually going to take D.Va off the point long enough to cap just before D.Va goes down. So Immortals will retake the point with 60% available. Cloud9 have done an excellent job to get up to 73 though, and this point is still anyone's. But Immortals are on map point. They're 2-0 up on Nepal. If they're able to hold this for another 30%, then Cloud9 will have to try and break the deadlock on Dorado.
The ultimates across the board favor Cloud9 as Agilities is the first one taken out. Selly's going to pop the Tactical Visor to ride that momentum. You've got Transcendence out here from Rolf on Cloud9, meaning it's basically a guaranteed thing here as Grim Reality and Ethan get taken out. It's a 6v3 for Cloud9. Even if Adam were to die, getting very close there, it's not going to matter. Cloud9 flip it back. Immortals getting up to 90%-ish means that they still have an opportunity to walk away with this Shrine victory, but Cloud9 have so many ultimates. Sound barriers on both sides means anyone really could take this next fight.
4 ultimates available on the part of Cloud9. Sureforce starting off with an amazing pulse bomb.
Wow.
Grim Reality going down, and there's no time to regroup, essentially. They have to hit the point now. Sureforce almost certainly has just nailed that final fight.
These last fight heroics are making a difference every time. Was Verbo, then Agilities, now Sureforce with the double up pulse bomb, 99% for Cloud9. They take out Nomi and Verbo as well. And even though Agilities is here with the blade, he's looking for whatever he can get. Diva Explosion actually takes him out mid-blade. So that's overtime. Drained down. Cloud9 do get a point on the board and stave off defeat for the time being. But we will head back to either Sanctum or Village to keep Nepal going.
All right. And that means, of course, that Immortals will have to wait a little bit if they want to go ahead and take the map that was chosen by Cloud9. Cloud9, of course, going 3-0 on Lijiang Tower earlier, if you guys didn't get a piece of that, which was the choice of map from Immortals. So they were looking to do the same right back, but Cloud9 have gotten a foothold on Nepal now as we head into... Oh, this is going to be fun as we head into Sanctum.
Yeah, the Sanctum was really fun earlier. Environmental kills made, obviously, the massive difference for Immortals the first time through, so I do expect to see more Verbo heroics, but looks like no Orisa this time, going to be locked in for Hyped, as he does sometimes bring it out. Graviton Surge is just a bit too valuable here on the Sanctum. You can also get environmental kills with the Graviton Surge if he wants to. Stick it right on the wall and see how many people you can drop down.
There, oh wow, both, is that both Roadhogs? It is both Roadhogs, hooking each other into the pit there. That's certainly that's a romance you don't see happen very often. If you're taking me out, I'm taking you out.
Reinhardt.
Gods also
Both
gets
Reinhardts.
taken out. Verbo. God, this is, gee, we should just follow Lucio. I mean, oh my goodness.
Oh, Zephyr falls off the side too. I don't know if that was intentional. I don't think it was, because Cloud9 still had even numbers there. I'm not sure how Zephyr ended up down in the pit, but Cloud9 are going to give up that man advantage as a result. Verbo sticking on the point. Hype is down to 1 HP. Gets blasted in the face after that biotic grenade, so it's still anyone's fight here on the point itself. Gods is going to step on and, avoids getting booped off immediately, but this time he's getting surrounded. Nomi eats a biotic grenade. He could actually die in the next few moments. He's going to actually live long enough to pin Gods away from the point. Verbo goes down.
Oh, wow.
There goes Nomi. Nano boost on Zephyr should get the job done for Cloud9.
Yeah, there we go, and the kills are now flowing thick and fast. I was worried for a second that the pit was going to get play of the match at the end of this, but we have got a little bit of stability now. Cloud9 will take the point first on Sanctum this time around, and Immortals once again have it all to do, but this time they are 2-1 up.
11% for Cloud9. Every time they've been grabbing the point first, they generally have one, dating back all the way to Lijiang Tower in game 1. So Sureforce on the soldier does have tactical visor, but so does Grim Reality. So whichever soldier pulls the trigger first could end up on top with their team on the point. So Zephyr loading up that Graviton Surge could be a definite, wow, what did I just say? Definite benefit for Cloud9 if they hit that grab, but he gets dropped into the...
No!
Nice hook by Agilities. Selly gets the kill on Agilities himself. The Graviton Surge whiffs as a result, and Agilities and company moving forward onto the point here. Grim Reality gets the nano boost, trying to blast everyone down, and Immortals will grab the point, but Cloud9 have a solid 42% to work with.
That was the moment they were waiting for. As soon as we spotted that hook, instantaneously popping the tactical visor, knowing that that is when the momentum shift is going to happen. Grim Reality seizing that opportunity, and Immortals now have the point on Sanctum, up to 15%. Like you said though, Joshy, Cloud9, they have a good foothold, and they seem to be doing quite well here so far. Adam and Selly, of course, looking for those environmental kills when they re-engage.
Oh, Graviton Surge. Counter Earth Shatter misses. Excellent shield there by Nomi. That could have been disastrous for them if that Shatter landed from Gods himself. But Gods gets a little bit of value anyway, takes out Verbo. There's a nano boost onto Sureforce. He finds the kill onto Hype, and this fight is not over despite that great engagement by Immortals. Cloud9 have surged back here. Sureforce and Selly both popping their ults to great effect.
Sureforce just casually picking up 4 finishing blows at the end of that as Cloud9 regain the point, almost at exactly the same percentage. 50 plays 44 now, as Immortals once again look to wrest control from the revamped Cloud9 roster. Rolf getting reasonably low there, but managing to duck out of trouble just in time. Sound Barrier will be available this time around if they want a little bit of sustainability on the point. Immortals looking for that right now. Let's see if they can get a boot to start off with. There goes Verbo. Nice auto-nade actually on most of Immortals, but Sound Barrier is going to help cater to most of that. He's on top of the ledge with Sureforce, and one of them is going to have to fall down. Still anybody's fight.
The Roadhogs actually trade lives there. Selly actually took a ride down into the pits, but 61% and rising for Immortals will tie things up, and they're already at this 2-1 advantage. So if they can deflect Cloud9, who have no ultimates at the moment, it could be quite a nice thing. Gods is going to get that Earthshatter ready, though, before they engage. Nomi has one of his own, so we're going to see some Reinhardt mind games. You might actually see an ambush out of Nomi as well. Looks like he's going to make himself known, though.
It would have been a great idea, but he can't quite make it work. Verbo looking for an opportunity for a boop, but isn't going to find it at the moment. Cloud9 playing this very, very carefully indeed. Oh, never mind. That is a boop onto Verbo. He just about managed to get back up, though. Both of these teams just constantly looking to not fight if they can go in and grab the boop. And there's Gods. Bye-bye. And Verbo gets the kill he was waiting for.
Nano Soldier versus Nano Soldier. Grim Reality came on top. Surefour was only able to get a kill, and that's 100% for Immortals, tying the series up 1-1, forcing that Game 3 on Dorado. And at that very last moment, you could see some of the Immortals guys caught in a Graviton Surge, but they're going to capture it anyway. And it's going to be Agilities with the play of the match on Roadhog, not on Genji. Is this the beginning? Oh, no. This is the first round.
That does look so weird when that happens, doesn't it? When the hook 2.0, you go, I want you here.
I like the hook and twist. It actually it lets you dunk people quite a lot easier. But
it does look like you dragged her through a brick wall.
Kinda, yeah.
I mean, that's gotta hurt. You had Zarya bubble, right? So
that's been happening since closed beta, though. Like walls are not really an obstacle for Roadhog, but Immortals, excellent job. I mean, they lost 0-3 on Lijiang Tower and were able to maintain their state of mind and keep that 3-1 victory on Nepal to keep the series alive. So I do have one more series result for you guys from Group A. Obviously, we're in Group B right now, but back in Group A, Rogue did actually take out Complexity 2-0. So Rogue, again, sitting on top of that group, beating everyone so far. And here back in Group B, Cloud9 versus Immortals has been an excellent series for us so far, but we have no other results to report just yet. The other teams in Group B, if you're curious, are Gale Force and Tempo Storm. And Tempo Storm is actually using Too Easy. The player from Reunited back in the day had a stint on FaZe as well, bounced around a couple of teams afterwards, but currently playing with Tempo Storm is pretty interesting. We'll see how they fare by the end of the day here.
We move out of the control maps and we move on to Dorado to try and separate these teams from each other. Cloud9 with their revamped roster, picking up an excellent 3-0 to start things off on Lijiang Tower. Immortals fighting right back. Environmental kills galore as they take Nepal 3-1. So it's going to be a payload map to decide which of these teams is going to take first blood in Group B.
This is an interesting map because the playstyles of both Immortals and Cloud9, I'm not too sure about new Cloud9 with Korean players involved, but classically, I think that Genjis really just love to run rampant on this map, so I'm expecting Agilities and perhaps Zephyr, who was playing Genji earlier, to have some excellent sprees here. But actually, loading in, it's going to be triple tank plus soldier for the attacking team. Agilities playing that Roadhog instead. And at least Agilities did get play of the match on a Roadhog. We know he's good at it as well, even if he's not going to Genji.
I don't know, man. Like, you could put him on Roadhog, you could put him on Genji. I enjoy watching both, to be honest. He's just so flexible. And I really enjoy Agility sort of popping up. He used to play like quite a lot of Zarya as well. He's been all over the shop in terms of what the team need him to play, and he's very, very good in that flex role.
Yeah, as long as you have a couple of heroes that you can flex between, as long as you've got a good DPS, a good tank, you can always replace one with the other when the situation calls for it. When everybody can do that, obviously, you've got a high flexibility as a team, but the doors are open now. We've got triple tank, Ethan actually bouncing off the Zenyatta back over to Anna very, very quickly here to start things off. And
that was a sonic arrow from Ethan to start it.
Okay, it was just a little reveal to try and start things off, but he's back on his Anna now, and on the other team, Surefour on the Tracer falls very low, but does manage to save himself.
Selly doing a good job on the high ground right now, actually not letting Agilities come close, and thanks to a Bionate, almost actually getting an early kill onto Roadhog. Need to be a little bit careful there, do Immortals, but the shields from Zarya have been excellent. Height must continuously be on a reasonable percentage, up to about 50% at the moment, but able to get another bubble off.
Wow, they're already moving through that choke point. This is where Cloud9 most likely is going to try to descend on them right after the cart gets freeze, just so they have a little bit of visibility to work with. But you've got Surefour in the backline trying to mess with Grim Reality as much as he can, but Grim is just going to rejoin his tanks here. Nobody's even low health just yet. This fight is extremely long and sustaining for both sides. Surefour does have a pulse bomb loaded up, but Wolf is going to be the first casualty.
Yep, and just man, I actually thought he might have not been able to use his tactical visor very well, did Selly, but ducking into the building there in what must have been the last 2 seconds of his nano visor, spotting a Soldier 76 and an Honor, and really getting the ball rolling on behalf of Cloud9.
All it takes is a couple of ultimates to finally jam up the cart, but this time on the return, Verbo's going to have that sound barrier. They're also going to have a nano boost to work with on whichever target they deem best, but the cart is very, very close to the checkpoint itself. Cloud9 waiting until the last moment to try to contest here, and sound barrier comes out, catches everybody on the side of Immortals, so they've got plenty of padding to find those first 2 kills. Now a nano boost getting committed onto Grim Reality, doesn't even need the visor for the cleanup, and they will reach that checkpoint pretty securely.
Yeah, that nano boost really a bit of icing on the cake there, as all the kills now going the way of Immortals. The first checkpoint is now well and truly captured, and Cloud9 only have got... Oh no, now Selly keeping him company. I was just looking at the positioning on Church and whether we were going to see Immortals try and contest it straight away, but it looks like they're perfectly happy at the moment to just poot along with the cart.
As it breaks through the choke point, you can see Roadhog and Grim Reality up here on the high ground, already trying to keep Cloud9 from getting comfortable over on the other side. Agility is actually going to hop across the railing here, the ledge, to get over in their faces, but he just gets moved down immediately. There's a visor here from Grim Reality. Not too much to shoot at, though, as the Winston is right in his face. The Graviton Surge catches Adam in an awkward spot. They need to get that kill on Lucio at least, and they can't do it, but they do end up getting the kill on Zephyr. Adam eventually falls to that fire strike, and Immortals will continue to roll.
2 versus 2 on the cart, but Agility's managing to come back in on the Roadhog. Selly still continuing to do a lot of damage from above, doing a very good job of just keeping himself hidden so he can't get picked off from Immortals, but the cart is still moving all the while. He needs time. He needs to buy it for his teammates to come back down. An excellent hook from Agilities is going to end him, though, before his teammates can make the same mistake.
Poor Soldier already down. That's really bad for Cloud9 here as Ethan finds Surefour again. Biotic Grenade actually getting the killing blow. That's a great pickup as both DPS are down for Cloud9. They're going to move that cart right under the underpass. No problems at all. This is actually usually the last place where Cloud9 would have a great opportunity to hold, but Agilities is going to pop the whole hog right in the face of Zephyr because the Matrix was a little bit low, but it's going to force D.Va down. Grim Reality gets taken out by the Pulse Bomb of Surefour, and Selly with the Tactical Visor and Nano Boost are able to pour out the damage. So 3 minutes left for Immortals to regroup and give it another shot.
The DPS, they're really coming into their fore once again for Cloud9, but I want to call out the patience as opposed to the DPS, because Surefour knew that he just had to wait until the ultimates got used, until he had an opportunity to just stick one person, and he managed to time his run out with Selly to perfection, so that while everyone else was distracted, Soldier got a double of his own.
Unfortunately for Immortals, this is a really awkward spot where the cart is right now. If it had been a little further, they could take left side safely, but it's actually going to roll back under that high ground. So they're basically the maximum distance from the cart that they can be to safely try to push. And Cloud9, of course, taking advantage of that. They've got the high ground fully controlled. And even though they're staring each other down on opposite sides, there's really not a whole lot Immortals can do from over here. Agilities is going to be essentially removed from the fight completely as Roadhog, for example. So they make a move. Hype is going to go toward the cart. Surefour in action, and Grim Reality still trying to find someone to shoot at cleanly.
Ethan managing to dodge Surefour at the moment. It looks like Honor is actually getting the better of Tracer while the rest of the action happens on the cart. So that high ground advantage there, really not making use of it, or at least not able to, because Immortals have just been so tightly knit in the center. Honor finally does go down, but it's Selly going to be the one who picks that up, and that is absolutely huge now as they re-engage. 3 kills now going the way of Immortals.
The shatter was excellently timed there before D.Va could get back into her suit. Everything coming up. Immortals here, 3 minutes available for the last stretch, and they're going to push forward into that spawn as quick as they can. Rolf out of position, unfortunately for Cloud9. It's going to get mowed over, and this is plenty of time for the cart to get through the garage door. But no one's pushing it, actually. No one is there. The supports are just now getting back from the super long spawn that they had. So the door is just now opening. Fortunately for Cloud9, they're going to have time to set up again.
Yeah, I mean, you know, when you're waiting for the door to open, it's a little bit of dead time anyway, so I guess it's kind of useful to have them, but they need to be careful because the supports might be a little bit out of position now, and a hook to start things off. Nobi grabbing an excellent kill off to Zephyr, but it's still such a small space. Anything can happen here, especially with Primal Rage activated. Cloud9 are trying to fight back. Shorefall once again getting a kill, this time not with the pulse bomb onto D.Va. And now we are back out into the open, and we have Nano Boost onto Selly.
The Nanovisor did get the value they needed out of it to reset the cart, as Hyped got popped out of his suit pretty early. He was unable to really lock it down, and as Grim Reality most likely going to get taken out here as well, means Immortals will have under 2 minutes to try and finish this last stretch. I think so far Cloud9 have actually done a great job here in the final stretch. Selly with that Nanovisor the first time, working out for them. They have nothing to work with this time though, so if Grim Reality and Athan can combine for some kills here, it could be lights out.
Shore4 is closest to an ultimate, and of course we know what he can do with the pulse bomb, but he'll have to try and generate that very quickly as well, because like you said, Joshy, that tactical visor and the nano boost both available for the side of Immortals as they move back onto the high ground for this push, being very disciplined and slow with their push, trying to find the initial pick, can't do so. D.Va coming in here to try and scatter Cloud9 a little bit. They're targeting Genji because they don't want to have to deal with any reflection shenanigans once the ultimate gets used. He's going to use it anyway. Shore4 goes down very early on. Another hook coming in, and Agility's manages to take out Gods.
Really unfortunate there for Cloud9. Gods actually jumped in at an awkward position and got kind of blown up there, was unable to do anything as Winston. Rolf now eating a staggered death means Immortals should roll right onto the checkpoint. Now it's a question of whether Cloud9 can actually contest this. Zephyr has 1 HP, but he has a Dragon Blade available, so if he can get healed back up, he may be able to get back in time. The Earth Shatter comes in from Nomi though, and that should actually be enough. As the supports go down, Zephyr's going to get hook comboed there by Agilities, and the cart will slide on in 41 seconds toward the extra rounds, and Cloud9 give up the full map of Dorado, but we haven't seen their offense yet. It's had a couple of awkward moments on the defense, so curious to see if they're going to be able to turn it around and try and take this series.
Less than a minute remaining, but the map does get completed. Selly4 will now be seeing what they can do on the other side as Immortals hopefully look to pull it off here. I have to say, like, on Thursday, we were looking at the group scoring. Immortals, really solid favorites here. It depends which Cloud9 shows up. And so far, I think this is straight up just like a very, very solid team. Cloud9 and their new guys, they don't look like a team that have, you know, just been playing together for a short amount of time. These guys, like you said, they came back with them from Korea and have been playing with them for quite some time. They look pretty polished. There's the odd mistake, but by and large, they don't look like a team that's just started playing together at all. Very good.
And I think that's just a merit of their individual skill. Of course, Zephyr and Selly coming from a different country completely. Obviously, Euro players do it all the time, but they don't normally have the same sort of language barriers or culture barriers either, as Los Angeles is a far cry from Seoul. If you've never been to either one, they're vastly, vastly different. So
slightly different.
I'm sure Zephyr and Selly are probably eating in and out every day and loving it, but they need to make sure they can get it together here for their attack as Immortals. In a pretty solid position, actually. If they can get a hold of anywhere along the way, they will be the victors of this BO3.
In and out sponsorship confirmed.
Maybe for Cloud9. I would definitely try to secure. If I run a pro team, I would want that sponsorship above all others.
Korean barbecue sponsorship would be ace, though. I mean, let's look at it on the flip side. That does sound like a pretty good deal, doesn't it? Right.
True.
We're going to be attacking now. Selly looks like he's locking in a Genji to start things off, so very interested to see what kind of impact he is able to make in. Immediately diving in beyond the shield, wasting absolutely no time. Excellent bionade, though, from Immortals. Makes him slightly less effective than he otherwise would be, but no one dying so far. Doing an excellent job on the dive and forcing forcing Immortals rather back.
I like the early jump as quick as you can, get up onto the high ground and force some decisions out of your opponents, whether it's Reinhardt needing to spin around his shield or healers needing to basically just get out of town because they're getting focused so quickly. It makes sense to be aggressive here with their push. And Cloud9, they're going to get stopped up in the choke point itself. Nomi with that big barrier up in the front means the Cloud9 flankers will have to go around to the back. Winston jumping in, looking for some targets. I actually like that positioning from Gods. Keeps him nice and safe while he's still able to push some damage out. But Sureforce is going to be the first one down. Farah gets eliminated. Gods down now as well, and Immortals should be able to reclaim the cart off of this momentum. Everybody's looking pretty healthy, and there goes Adam as well.
Yeah, keeping the momentum alive and keeping the damage actually through. Oh, almost getting a stagger kill into Selly. He does get the stagger kill despite the reflect there, managing to hit the ground with a Helix rocket right at Genji's feet, and Grim Reality was absolutely superb in that previous fight, getting the double, but a lot of that was down to the tanks on the team, Agilities in particular, managing to keep the rest of Cloud9 occupied. So 2 ultimates on the part of Cloud9. Transcendence is available as well as Dragon Blade, so could be potentially very lethal.
Here comes a blade from Selly, actually being the first ultimate used. A nano boost was used onto Grim Reality, but he does not have a visor just yet. Nomi falling extremely low health. Can they keep him up long enough to contest the cart? Does not work out for them in the end, but Selly was taken out before he could do too much damage. It's a 5v5 still out near the cart. Hype is going to fall rather low on his defensive Zarya, but he has generated the Graviton Surge that could come into play. There it is, and it grabs up at least Gods and Surefour stuck in there, but the Winston Bubble going to keep them nice and healthy. This fight still could go either direction, but Grim Reality getting back into play with the visor at just the right time, finds a kill onto Gods, and it's going to be Immortals grabbing control once more.
That was so awkward, Joshy, because Grim Reality almost didn't find the visor at the right time. The Diva Bomb was going off like in the middle of his tactical visor. He only had a second or two at the end to get the critical kills that he needed to get, and he just about managed to do it by the skin of his teeth. Winston leaping down and him managing to pick him out of the end.
Well, as Immortals have been holding on over and over, they're very low on options right now as far as ultimates. Zephyr is going to actually make a switch over to Soldier 76 off of the Genji now that his, excuse me, not off of Genji, Selly's over on the Genji. Zephyr was on D.Va, I believe, earlier, but now with the Soldier in play, they've got a little bit more damage output as they're running out of chances.
Moving around the left side of the cart, trying to combine with Trace to get as much damage done as possible. There's a sound barrier to start things off. They need to collapse in and move in now. Nomi manages to get the first kill onto Adam. That is so critical. Very difficult when you don't have that sustained healing against a team that is so good at staying alive as this. They're going to continue trying to fight. Agility's grabbing a second kill as well, and the momentum is slowly but surely swinging in the direction of Immortals. Cloud9 look like they will have a grand total of 1 push left.
Well, Selly did have the Dragon Blade available. He died with it, so they'll at least have it available on the next push. Transcendence plus Dragon Blade could actually be enough to get the job done here, but Grim Reality getting very, very close to attack visor with his precision. You can assume he's going to have it over the course of the next fight, and if Ethan nano boosts him, that could just shut the door completely. It's the last opportunity here for Cloud9. Can they get it done with their limited ultimates?
Surefour going round the side, but immediately getting popped. Needs to be so careful. There's a Transcendence to start things off. And here we go. Zephyr managing to get the first kill on the board, but Soldier 76 on both sides fighting back. Grim Reality has got attack visor available. He's going to use it now to try and finally force everyone off the point. Looking for Surefour, can't find him as the rest of the team start getting those kills in. So he's a little bit in trouble on the cart. Cloud9 managed to take point 1.
Credit to Selly on that one as well. He popped the Dragon Blade and actually forced Immortals out of position immediately, so the rest of the kills really added up there for Cloud9. Even though Selly himself didn't get any final blows, it was enough to finally open this door and start the second stretch. We've got Agilities on the Roadhog here, Grim sticking over on the Soldier 76. Agilities trying to find the hook combo, and Selly can't quite get it, and Cloud9 will start to head past the courthouse here. Unfortunately, everyone from Immortals is already staring them down. Grim Reality is actually working over to the side as well. He's walking into a 2v1 though against Rolf and Zephyr.
Zephyr looking for an opportunity to use the fire. Oh wow, immediately gets spotted by D.Va, and unfortunately Hype isn't able to stop it completely and does give his own life for the privilege, but Zephyr was blunted by that. Cloud9 coming around the side now, looking for opportunities to try and get an initial pickoff. Ow, that is very nice. Both supports in danger of going down. Now Ethan and Verbo do indeed bite the bullet. Be that as they continue under the bridge. That
boop on Roadhog at the very end sent him skyward. He almost landed on the roof, but the new boop is quite powerful with those new physics being added in. But minute 18 is all that Cloud9 has left here. They're still basically in desperation territory, but they have a lot of ults to work with here. Ethan has the nano boost ready, but no good targets for it just yet. Perhaps Nomi on the Reinhardt might be his best bet, but it's actually going to be Grim up on the high ground. Selly's already starting to take some swipes at him with the Dragon Blade, though, and he gets both of those kills. Ethan and Grim both down. They had both used their ults to no effect, and Cloud9 getting definitely the benefit of these ult advantages. Surefour taking out Nomi means the cart has a pretty good chance of reaching the second checkpoint with some time to spare.
Cloud9 seem to be getting very, very strong at riding this momentum by staggering the ultimates that they're using at the moment. Immortals are having a difficult time trying to basically get all the ultimates used for Cloud9 so they can go ahead and win a team fight. Surefour still has Pulse Bomb available. Rolf has Transcendence in the bag. There is no need for them to use them all at once, being very patient. That's exactly what they need to do to close out this map. 41 seconds on the time bank isn't a lot, but they do have to finish first.
Well, the next fight opens up with a nice pulse bomb kill. Surefour finds another one. Ethan was in the very far back of the high hallway, and Surefour just walked around, got the kill. Adam eats a fire strike, though. Nomi also going down to Selly means it's a 5v4 advantage for Cloud9 on the cart itself. Verbo is keeping it frozen in place best he can, but he goes down to Rolf with that Orb of Discord and follow-up. And only 90 seconds left to get through this final stage. Hyped is going to contest as much as he possibly can in the Diva suit before going down. Suddenly, it's just Grim Reality against Selly, but Ethan, long-range Biodate helps take him out, and Immortals still have an opportunity here. Getting rid of that Genji was a nice pickup.
Ethan grabbing a double with an excellent Bionade as well is going to help them a lot. I need to call out Rolf, by the way. Him and Surefour would be working so well together. Every time someone's discorded, Tracer was absolutely right there, and that's kept the cart moving. 1 minute left to go. The cart is continuing to move closer and closer to the final checkpoint. Here comes the Transcendence from Rolf. They want to make this the final play. Sound barrier coming out from the defense there as Tactical Visor gets used as well. Grim Reality looking for the kills. Can't find them, though. Zephyr gets one of his own, and here comes no, there's no Tactical Visor there. It's only the Nano Boost, but he gets 2 kills anyway. Looking for Zenyatta. Can he get a third? Yes, he can.
Grim doesn't need aimbot. He's so good without it. And Nano Boost just lets him pop heads even faster. So excellent cleanup there. That was looking very scary for Immortals. They were all over the place. Surefour had another Pulse Bomb kill in the mix there, this time onto Nomi. Nomi did use his Earth Shatter, and it was a little bit wild. It didn't actually catch too much, but in the end, Grim Reality, the Nano Boost worked out, and only 12 seconds left means Cloud9 have one last-ditch opportunity. Surefour's on the cart, and no one from Immortals is, but Hyped is going to react to that very quickly. I think everyone in Immortals honestly should just be playing the cart at this point.
On the high ground now, Drew looking to collapse. There we go, everyone moving on down. There's the Diva Bomb. Is it going to catch anyone unaware? It is not. We now have the new suit coming out from Hype. Grim Reality managing to get the kill. Oh, and it looks like Immortals are starting to grab the upper hand here, though. Cloud9 cannot actually stay on the point. The Pulse Bomb basically seals it. Overtime is done. And Immortals, ladies and gentlemen, will be able to take it 3-2.
What an excellent series that was overall. It was looking a little scary for Immortals after that 3-0 lead for Cloud9, but they are able to bring it back on Nepal, force this third map, and they win it. Pretty narrow margin, I would say about a minute difference, all added up, but of course they do deny Cloud9 from actually finishing the map, despite some excellent play from both sides. Grim Reality came up clutch more often than not. Surefour's Pulse Bombs were a credit for Cloud9, but not enough in the end. And here's that play of the match back at point A, where he didn't even have Tactical Visor. He got the Nano Boost late and just picked everyone off.
That does seem to be a bit of a theme, doesn't it? It doesn't really matter what the ultimate status is. Grim Reality can just come out there and come up with those clutch plays as well. So the Immortals, maybe by a very small margin that some people wouldn't have expected, do defeat Cloud9. The revamp roster for Cloud9 looking extremely promising there, but they will go down 2-1 in their opening group match.
Really great series to kick off Group B, and if you guys enjoyed Cloud9's play, even though they did lose the series, they're going to be sticking around here on stream. Our next best of 3 series for Group B is going to be Cloud9 versus Gale Force Esports, and Gale Force Esports did come through the qualifier as one of those 8 teams, so you know, we could get a nice battle for ourselves here. Cloud9, I think, are still the favorites, but Gale Force have been kind of on the up and up in recent weeks, doing better and better in the weekly events. So who knows which Gale Force we're going to see here.
These teams also, I don't think they've ever met in tournament play before, so they're going to be facing each other for the first time here. Cloud9 have certainly looked very scary. I mean, about as scary as you can look after losing a best of 3, but to be honest, the margins involved there were so small that I think Gale Force will have been watching that going, okay, we're going to really have to dig deep and make sure we show our best Overwatch for this match. And I wouldn't expect anything less. Immortals now potentially racing clear at the top of the group. They, of course, have to beat everyone else too. But getting those points on the board to start off with is going to be a nice confidence booster for them as the pre-tournament favorites in this group.
All right, everyone. Well, we're between series.